Emily stood frozen, paralyzed by fear. The bear was huge, easily twice her size, and its growl reverberated through her bones. She took a slow step back, her feet barely making a sound against the forest floor. But the bear's sharp gaze followed her every movement. It was a crisp autumn morning when Emily, a curious 8-year-old girl, ventured into the woods near her home, a small cabin tucked away on the edge of a vast forest. Her parents had warned her about the danger of straying too far, but her adventurous spirit couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. The forest was alive with the sounds of nature, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, and the distant hum of wind moving through the trees. Emily, with her trusty backpack and a few snacks, set off along the familiar trail she had walked with her father many times before. Today, however, she wanted to explore on her own. Her parents were busy with chores around the cabin, and she relished the independence. As she wandered deeper into the forest, the towering trees began to thin, and soon she found herself in an unfamiliar part of the woods. The vibrant colors of the fall foliage gave way to a more muted, somber landscape. Emily paused and looked around, realizing she didn't recognize any of the trees or the trail. A sudden sense of unease crept into her chest. She tried retracing her steps, but couldn't seem to find the path back. The more she walked, the more the trees seemed to close in on her, their gnarled branches twisting above, blocking out the sunlight. Panic began to set in, but Emily tried to remain calm. She called out for her parents, but her voice only echoed back at her, swallowed by the vastness of the forest. Hours passed, and the sun began to dip behind the horizon. Emily's stomach growled with hunger, and her legs ached from the long, aimless wandering. Her light-hearted adventure had quickly turned into a desperate quest for safety. She needed to find her way back. But the deeper she went, the more lost she became. Then, she heard it. A low, guttural growl from somewhere in the woods. Frozen in place, Emily's heart raced. She had read stories about bears before, but she never thought she'd encounter one in real life. The sound grew louder, closer, and soon, out of the underbrush, emerged a massive black bear. Its fur was thick and glossy, its eyes glinting with a wild, untamed intensity. Emily froze, paralyzed by fear. The bear was huge, easily twice her size, and its growl reverberated through her bones. She took a slow step back, her feet barely making a sound against the forest floor. But the bear's sharp gaze followed her every movement. Emily's mind raced for a way to escape. But the reality of the situation was clear. There was no escape. She was alone, deep in the forest, with a bear closing in. The bear's growl softened for a moment, and to Emily's surprise, it didn't lunge at her. Instead, it seemed to be studying her, its eyes narrowing in curiosity rather than aggression. She didn't move, terrified that any sudden action might provoke it. The bear sniffed the air, its nostrils flaring as if sensing something about her. Then, unexpectedly, the bear lowered its head and stepped closer in a slow, cautious approach. Emily's heart skipped a beat. She wanted to run, to scream, but her body remained frozen in place. The bear's massive paw landed softly on the ground. As it approached, its dark amber eyes still fixed on her, the forest around them fell into an eerie silence. The sounds of wildlife seemed to vanish altogether as the bear got closer. Emily noticed something even more surprising. The bear's eyes softened, and it made no move to harm her. It was almost as if the animal were trying to communicate something. A kind of unspoken understanding between them. Emily could hardly believe what was happening. She had heard stories about animals sensing danger, but this was beyond anything she could have imagined. The bear lowered its head further, and Emily, unsure of what else to do, slowly reached out her hand toward it. Her movements were tentative, but the bear didn't pull away. Instead, it gently nudged her hand with its snout, a surprisingly tender gesture. Emily's mind raced. Was this a sign that the bear wouldn't hurt her? Or was it simply toying with her? Before she could process her thoughts, another sound broke. The silence. A rustling from the bushes behind her. Emily turned her head just in time to see a second figure emerging from the shadows. It wasn't another bear, but a human. A man clothed in rugged outdoor gear, with a concerned expression on his face. "Emily!" the man called out, his voice filled with relief and worry. It was her father. He had been searching for her all afternoon, tracking her footsteps as the daylight faded. When he heard the bear's growls, he rushed toward the sound, fearing the worst. But what he found was something he could hardly believe. His daughter, standing calmly near the bear, seemingly unharmed.